Hello, friends. This is former immigration judge George Pappas, and now attorney at law. Friends, it's official. The United Nations has determined that the United States is violating the due process rights of immigrants in the United States. That's right. The United Nations, which normally castigates third world countries, is now focusing on the violations of human rights and dignity in the United States. Let's talk about it. Folks, I've been talking about the violation and the attack on due process in immigration courts now for about a year. As a former immigration judge, I can tell you it is appalling how the administration is truncating and undermining fair and reasonable court hearings in our immigration courts. Let me give you some examples. Immigration judges have been told to avoid hearings and order people removed while they're in immigration court proceedings. Let me repeat that. Immigration judges have been told by EOIR, the Executive Office of Immigration Review, to remove order deported individuals without a fair hearing. That is the height of undermining due process. Those that actually do make it to a hearing are told in many cases you have 20 minutes, 30 minutes to present your case with a lawyer. If a lawyer doesn't object to that, that's a real dereliction of duty. But again, it's an attack on a fair hearing. Also, courts are only giving individuals maybe 2 weeks while they're in detention to prepare for a full trial. This takes months to get affidavits, to get supporting documents and other cooperating evidence. Where in the world does anyone think that they're going to get a fair hearing for their final trial and have 2 weeks to prepare? Ladies and gentlemen, when I go to court, I have filed motions to terminate any proceeding because the courts are unfair by themselves. And I encourage lawyers to do the same thing, to file a motion to terminate based on a per se prejudice. Prejudice being that the hearings are not fair. Interference from EOI leadership telling judges what to do in specific cases, threatening judges with firings if they don't rule within a certain way. This is not an independent jury. What the administration has done is fire about 110, 113 judges nationwide since January of 2025. They're replaced with judges, ladies and gentlemen, who have zero experience in immigration law. In other words, they're being hired to rubber stamp and accelerate a deportation machine. So the facade of constitutional protections, the facade of due process and fair hearings in the United States is a farce. That's just the immigration court system. We're not even talking about Immigration Customs and Control with their illegal search and seizures, with their illegal arrests of both people and citizens in the United States, the terror campaigns that they have inflicted throughout the country, the murders that they have committed in Minneapolis, the killings that they have finished and done and completed in Houston and in Maine. There's a record number of people dying in immigration detention. There's a record number of people committing suicide. These are not humane conditions in the United States of America. And ladies and gentlemen, keep one thing in mind. This is a dress rehearsal for the administration's ability to come after you in the future. That's right. In the future, if you criticize this government, you can plan on being arrested. You can plan on being put in detention. The $35+ billion that this administration wants to spend to build warehouses across the United States is not just for immigrants. It's for U.S. citizens. The authoritarian state is evolving and developing as we speak. What can you do? Join your local organizations. Join your nonprofit unions or nonprofit organizations in your community. Write op-eds. Speak out. Call your congressman. But don't sit alone and stay on Facebook and think it's going to change. The question is, what can you do? Get engaged. Get engaged with organizations. Get engaged with your colleagues. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. Do something, but don't sit idly. What you can do locally affects the whole nation. Put pressure on your local politicians. Put pressure on your council to make sure ordinances prevent warehouses for both immigrants and U.S. citizens are not built. That's what you can do. You can do something. We'll keep this going. Thank you very much.